elevate the Sri Lanka to the industry fourth level. That is one of our main goal within this next 2 to 3 years period. Therefore, that we know that industry, that most of our manufacturing industries, they have acquired the industry third level, industry revolution, third level, which is computer technology and automation, those kinds of things they have adapted. That they have, most of the industries have adapted. But the industry fourth level, which is Internet of Things, robotic applications, and artificial intelligence, and the smart manufacturing, those type of technology, those type of applications have not been adapted by most of our manufacturing industry. But that the ministry wants that within this next 3 to 4 years period, that our main target, ministry target, is to give some awareness for this manufacturing industry about this industry 4th revolution applications and the 4th revolution requirements, and also to give them to enhance their capacity to adopt the industry 4th revolution level technologies for the eyes. That will give the industries to enhance their manufacturing capacity and to develop their products into the export level. That is what the main idea is, the industry. And then today that with the support of the IFF, ICC, ISL, and the other related organizations, that the Ministry of Industry is organizing session to introduce this industry revolution applications to the industry, and also especially the tool to industries to identify their readiness to the industry 4th level, industry 4th revolution level, readiness of their industry for the industry 4th revolution with this tool. That is what the main idea of this session. And I welcome all the additional secretaries and the senior officials of the Ministry of Industry for this very specific program and the very technical program, and also all the sector advisory committee chairmen and the sector advisory committee members for this forum, and also the representatives and the FCC, ISL, and also the Faculty of Engineering, the representative of Faculty of Engineering, SLIP, and also I warmly welcome the Dr. K. Ramanathan and other academics of the Western Study in Sydney University, Australia, who developed the self-assessment tool, and also the chair, Institute Kirti Gunawardena, President of XPISL, and all of you for this very important session. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chaminda Paguraja, Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Industries. So we will go with the agenda. I have circulated the agenda. So firstly, Thank you for giving us this opportunity. We have done this few times with some of the industry people, some previously also participated. Actually, that gave very good results in some of the organizations. But as the secretary, the additional secretary, Chaminda mentioned that they themselves as the industry, they find the levels are from 2 to 3. So that means, even some organization wants to go into industry 4, you have to do a gap analysis and see what are the areas that you're weak and, have to have some way of correcting the process in-house first. So these, are major concern that, thought that we will address in this forum. And of course, we are lucky to have the Secretary Advisory Committee Chairman. So these are the key people in this country who's running the industry. So happy to be with us and make a small presentation. So this has let me welcome you all first. This has just 2 videos. One is about the evolution of the industry 4.0 up to industry 4.0, and the other one is one organization who is really doing well with the industry 4.0. This I just gave these two videos to just give an idea. So what we are talking, and where are the leaders are right now. So in our case, so what is the status of Sri Lanka with regards to the industry 2.0 is something that every one of us has to study. The second thing is what is the progress in Asia and in the other parts of the world. This we should know. Who are the champions and what should be our way forward. So this is the the general thing that I thought that I will share with you. Here I found when I want to do, generally we just do a welcome speech and thanking the people and things like that. So here I thought I will share some of the information with you. I got a report from GSMA that this organization has about 750 different mobile operators, and out of that, 400 separate organizations are in this forum, and some of the findings in Asia is given in this report. I will share this with you. So this is the survey that they have done. Response from 31 stakeholders in 11 target countries that has been focused of the digital societies report series. This here, what they have done is in March 2020, send a questionnaire to all government agencies, mobile operators, digital ecosystem players in Asia Pacific. They call it the whole of government approach. And they try to get some data out of that. So the survey explored 4 key areas. What are the key digital foundations that needs to be in place to deliver Industry 4.0 visions to focus countries? What are the current approaches by policymakers to deliver Industry 4.0? What and where are the pinch points in the delivery of Industry 4.0? What are the new approaches to address these pinch points? So this another chart that they have shown that some sectors has tremendously has improvement over the years with Industry 4.0, especially telecommunications, and various manufacturing industries has grown to a very high extent, and in the meantime, e-government services and all that in some countries developed to a greater extent. I will not go into all the details here, since I can share this with all the participants. So these are summary of Industry 4.0 visions in Asia Pacific. They have summarized. When you see countries like Australia, they have gone to a greater extent. They have set up the task forces and done a lot of work with the Industry 4.0 area. India, they have done key areas. They are good in information technology. So in relation to that one, they have developed their network. In Japan, they are focused on mobility, healthcare, caregiving, manufacturing, agriculture, food, even disaster, and to energy. So those countries, they had a vision and they have used these technologies to achieve what they want in their respective countries. South Korea is one of the countries to be mostly successful in Industry 2.0. They have gone in for many areas, like in the recent years in our lifetime, we know how they became giants in mobile phones and things like that, where the other countries left behind with the technology. They came and do manufacturing, not only in their countries. So I participated in a Asian Productivity Organization organized session with almost all the Asian countries, but the resource persons came from Canada and various parts of the world. So they are in one place they mentioned one organization, they did mention name of the organization. They want to have the same manufacturing in 5 different locations in the world. Simply today, if you do in one place, the logistic will cost a lot. to send it to the other parts of the. So when they do, so they have adapted Industry 4.0 technology and monitor everything from one place. And they have given software support, everything to these selected manufacturers in different countries. And this is some good example. Even countries like Sri Lanka, we call it, we have a very high literacy rate and IT levels and things like that. With all that, are we taking the advantage? Is a question that we have to answer. In countries like Bangladesh, they have gone in, they participated in one person came as a resource person there. So they said the new initiatives of Bangladesh, and how they have not only taken the big industries, even the small and medium industries, they have taken into Industry 4.0 level by upgrading their levels and supporting them. So in this survey, they have done the key digital foundation that needs to be in place to deliver the Industry 4.0 vision, including high-speed mobile networks. This all about Internet of Things and all that. You need very high levels, 4G, 5G kind of internet support. Then policies, regulatory framework in place that enables the safety and security data within the cross borders and digital currency is required. Then the current approach of by policymakers to deliver Industry 4.0, which government body is accountable for Industry 4.0 planning, who will be the stakeholders of this one. This is something which we have to address in Sri Lanka. I do not think this has been addressed well. So this survey has taken a few pinch points in the delivery of 4.0 vision. What are the main obstacles that are preventing the delivery of Industry 4.0 objectives? What are the impact of these obstacles of different agencies and organizations? What changes can be made to overcome these obstacles? So these are the things that we should be discussing and come to some agreement. Then new approaches to address the roadblocks. What measures would agencies consider to improve and success of making the So these are some of the statistics that I would like to share with you. So these are the things that happen in the world, but of course, the industrial IoTs, smart manufacturing is progressing in a lower level, but Industry 4.0 and smart factories are functioning quite well. So these are the again some statistics in different areas of the adaptation by industry. So they are again automotives, computer, electronics and electricals, metals and mining, processing industries. So these the areas that there is a high sector. Now, Industry 4.0 adoption by 2020 by region wise, if you take, you will find North America has acquired a lot. That you saw Tesla, how they do, General Electric, Boeing, these the organizations, they work together to make a great success. Europe and last the Asia. So these are the leading organizations in the world who have achieved a lot of success in terms of Industry 4.0 achievements. Siemens, General Electric and Boeing. So I will end up my presentation saying, how can we pass the knowledge to the chambers industry? You represent here, so this message has to go to your other stakeholders. They also should be part of this. Otherwise, Sri Lanka cannot move towards this level. What do you think some industry FCCL should do to support this initiative? This we can we have to address. So like most of these countries has done tremendous improvement. I will not talk about any other countries. I will just like to show my experience recently in Bangladesh. So I was invited for the Bangladesh Business Summit 2023. So there, the Prime Minister, she herself came to that event to be the keynote speaker. Then she says, so these are big body, what I saw at the picture. We have achieved Vision 2021 and transformed the country into digital Bangladesh. Now they are talking digital Bangladesh, IT Bangladesh, there is no opposition, nobody is objecting them. As a country, they have agreed, this has to happen. So this has to happen in Sri Lanka also, because what happens is we see more oppositions when there is a positive statement comes on. So then they are talking the Sustainable Development Goals achievement in 2030 as they agree with as they agree, and to make a prosperous country by 2041 and making a $1 trillion country. So in the airport that I have seen so many light boxes. Everyone is a positive tagline. Now it says in one, I just put the second one, the 28th largest economy of the world in 2030, and they say accelerating the $1 trillion journey. Everything is, based on that vision they are trying to achieve. So these are one, I took part, these our counterparts in Bangladesh organized this event. Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So you can see here the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she came and addressed this one in their own language. So then I had a friend there, so who's the Unilever MD. I asked, what did she say? He said, this is possible. If we reach 6% growth annually, there is no reason that why we should not achieve $1 trillion. Now, another next good thing that I have to show here is this event. Their tagline is accelerating the $1 trillion journey. So, as a country, they are progressing so well. So then we also have to have framework, immediate way of moving forward with this. I thought I will share this also. The fourth industrial revolution or industry 4.0 describes the exponential changes, the way we live, work, and relate to one another due to the adoption of hyper-physical systems, the Internet of Things, and the Internet of Systems. So thereby, the change is taking place all over. If we don't want to change, so we'll be in a bad corner in the world. So therefore, it is very important for us to improve ourselves in this area. So as a first thing, what we thought, we will come up with assessing the industry 4.0 readiness in the manufacturing sector. So that will be presented by our counterparts from the Western Sydney University. So let me Professor and just a small introduction of Professor Ramanathan. Professor Ramanathan is product of St. Benedict College, Colombo. He did mechanical engineering and operations. First degree from the University of Ceylon, Peradeniya. He's a master's and doctoral degree holder of industry engineering and management from the Asian Institute of Technology. Professor Ramanathan worked as associate professor at the School of Management of the Asian Institute of Technology, IIT at Bangkok, Thailand. He helped to design and run MBA and PhD programs, management of technology, and many other programs. He has served United Nations, designed and implemented many programs over 15 countries in Asia Pacific region. Professor Ramanathan's current research and international consultancy focus is on the transfer and application of Industry 4.0 technologies in operation supply chain management for enhancing competitiveness and promoting the circular economy. Professor Ramanathan currently working with School of Business, the Western Sydney University as an educated professor. Let me invite Professor Ramanathan to start his presentation. He will give you an overview of an integrated approach for assessing Industry 4.0 readiness of a firm in the manufacturing sector. Can you note down your questions? Then after that, we will take it up question and answer session, all the questions together. That will be easy. Then we can have interaction within this participants also. So can we request Professor Ramanathan to go ahead with the presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Kirti Gunawardena. Can you hear me?
Yes, can.
Can we get the participant and whether they can see the
Yes.
screen or not? Once we share.
Can we check with the participants? Everyone can see the screen properly.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes,
Just
we can
now
see.
we can see.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was not able to see any of the slides that Mr. Gunawardena was presenting during his presentation. So I was wondering whether there was any problem. But you can see my screen now.
Yes, can see.
Yeah,
Yes,
excellent.
we
Thank
can
you.
now see.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. At the very outset, let me express my very sincere thanks at being given this opportunity. So, Mr. Chaminda Patiraja, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Industries, and other senior officials at the Ministry of Industries, Mr. Kirti Gunawardena, President of the Federation of Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Sri Lanka, a distinguished chairman of the advisory committees formed by the Ministry of Industries, Mr. Sena Pires, Engineer Sena Pires, Engineer Nihal Kure, Professor Chandana Pereira, and of course, my dear colleague, Professor Prem Samarnayaka. This is truly a great honor for me to be able to share some of the work that Dr. Prem and I have been carrying out at the School of Business of the Western Sydney University. So my presentation is titled Industry 4 Readiness Assessment. I hope to cover this in 4 parts. I'm not going to spend much time on what Industry 4.0 is because I think Mr. Kirti Gunawardena explained it very well, and also I'm sure you had a chance to see the videos. So I will go through that very quickly, but I would like to spend some time talking about the implications for manufacturing firms in emerging economies such as Sri Lanka in the context of Industry 4.0. And after discussing that, I would like to present the Industry 4.0 Readiness Assessment Framework that we have developed at the School of Business at Western Sydney University. And having presented that, I'll just spend a few minutes talking about a possible way forward where I would like to suggest what steps can be taken in order to encourage and assist the manufacturing sector in Sri Lanka to transition to an Industry 4 setting. I will then stop with that, and Professor Prem Samarnayaka will then take over and talk about a very simple online readiness assessment tool that we have developed. And he will also talk about other possible support that our School of Business at Western Sydney University can provide. So that's basically my plan of presentation. Let me start off by very quickly going through what is Industry 4.0. As all of you know, and as the Additional Secretary, Mr. Chaminda Patiraja, pointed out, we are now at the Industry 4.0 level. And as he so correctly said, in the future, we'll be talking about Industry 5.0. Now, what is important to remember is that when we talk about Industry 1, industries moved from being just labor intensive to mechanization, thanks to steam power. And this continued for almost a century before mass production became possible thanks to the plentiful availability of electricity. And this also led to what we call the assembly line mode of manufacturing. And this again continued for another almost a century. Needless to say, tremendous progress was made in terms of production. And then we entered the Industry 3.0 era, where the focus was on automation, computers, electronics, and the integration of what we call information and communication technology. Then after 1969, within a very short period, we have moved on to the Industry 4.0 setting, where the focus is on cyber physical production systems, the Internet of Things and networks. Now, first thing that we have to remember is that we have been building up on the capabilities that industries have, starting from Industry 1.0 to Industry 4.0. So it has led to an enhancement of the manufacturing capabilities of many industries. Now the term Industry 4.0 revolution is used, or the fourth industrial revolution. Now the question is, why do we use the term revolution? Basically, there are a couple of reasons for that. And the first one is that Industry 4.0 involves the use of disruptive technologies that companies need to master. Secondly, we cannot continue to manage our supply chains the way we've managed in an Industry 3.0 or Industry 2.0 setting. We have to completely re-engineer the way we produce, the way materials, information, and finances flow along the supply chain. And furthermore, we cannot use the same management approaches and techniques that we have used in the past. And now it is important to develop new ways of managing our companies in an Industry 4 setting. Furthermore, at the national level, governments need to come out with very innovative policies that can help companies to take advantage of the potential that Industry 4.0 offers. So I think that's the first point that I wish to make, that it is just not a question of adopting new technologies, but it's also a question of developing the way materials, information, and finances flow along the supply chain, the way we manage our production, the way we manage the resources that we have, and also the national policy setting within which we work has also got to be re-engineered. So these are some important aspects that we have to keep in mind. It is not just a question of flooding factories with new technologies, because that would really not lead to great benefits. We have to look at it very holistically in terms of the supply chain and in terms of the way we manage organizations and the way national policies have to be innovatively created to support the manufacturing sector. Now, we talked about some of the disruptive technologies that are being used in Industry 4.0. And here is just a sample of some of the technologies. For example, today we see robotics in a big way. So autonomous robots is again one of the disruptive technologies that Industry 4.0 uses. We can talk about simulation, cybersecurity, the cloud, additive manufacturing or 3D printing, augmented reality, big data and analytics, advanced sensor technology, and so on. There are many, many technologies. So these are referred to as the foundational technologies that Industry 4.0 adopts. Now, how did the term Industry 4.0 come about? In fact, it was Germany which coined this term. And Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany, about 10 years ago, made this statement that we must deal quickly with the fusion of the online world and the world of industrial production. In Germany, we call it Industry 4.0. So basically, she was emphasizing the need to harness the power of information technology in the online world and the industrial production in order to create greater value to society. Now, we talked about the cyber physical production systems. And in this diagram here, what I would like to show is that in an Industry 4 setting, we talk of a smart factory. And the smart factory uses many of these foundational technologies like robotics, 3D printing, virtual reality, augmented reality, enterprise resource planning systems, big data, cloud computing, Internet of Things, all of these. So essentially what we are going to now do is we are going to design smart products. We engage in digital production, and also we provide digital services to our consumers. So this is again what we see here, shown slightly differently. Digital production and physical production supported by sensors, and we work very closely with suppliers, with logistic service providers through the cloud. We end up with customized products, virtual production, smart products. So essentially, new ways of working would be needed, where we talk about vertical networking or smart production systems, horizontal integration of supply chains, and product design and engineering collaboration across the entire supply chain web. And I think this is a point that Mr. Kirti Gunawardena made in his introductory remarks. Now, having said all that, now, what are the implications for manufacturing firms in emerging economies? The first point to remember is that many emerging economies are still adopting what we call old globalization. And now, what are the attributes of old globalization? Firstly, production in big factories located in low labor cost locations. And Sri Lanka has been welcoming this in a very big way in the past, and we continue to do that. We offer low labor costs, and we are very keen to attract a lot of big factories that would come and produce in Sri Lanka, taking advantage of low labor costs. Now, that's a very good reason why we need to attract companies, because we have a plentiful supply of skilled low labor cost personnel available. Secondly, under old globalization, governments encouraged cross-border trade. So many of the trade policies and the national policies supporting manufacturing were aimed at multilateral agreements, market liberalization, and trying to see how cross-border trade costs can be brought down. Now, those policies have played a very important role and will continue to play a very important role. The third one is that there have been a lot of attempts made by businesses to reduce the costs of cross-border collaboration. Thanks to the internet, the cross-border collaboration has become much cheaper. So all these were key attributes of old globalization. But when we move to Industry 4.0, we are talking about a new globalization where we are talking about distributed production. But distributed production means Industry 4.0 technologies enable smaller local factories to be distributed geographically to meet local demand with greater emphasis on speed to market. So we don't need to have one massive factory producing large quantities of items which are then shipped everywhere. We can have small factories located very close to distributed geographically, catering to smaller regions, because that's something that is possible through Industry 4 technologies. And that has very important implications for emerging economies like Sri Lanka. And I'll come to that in a short while. Secondly, in many parts of the world, especially in the Western world and the more industrialized countries, the governments are encouraging local supply. They are saying that after this pandemic, we want to be more careful. And again, the wars now between Ukraine and Russia and so on has caused many global disruptions. So what they are talking about is, can we actually start making things that we had previously offshored in our own countries? So they are encouraging local supply, and this was started especially by the United States during Mr. Trump's period, where he was inviting American companies to come back to America and produce locally and not produce outside in countries like China. So today that's a big trend in the Western world, trying to bring back production to their countries. And thirdly, what we are finding is that thanks to digital connectivity, we don't have to spend much money to promote collaboration among supply chain partners. That's why we call it asset-light cross-border collaboration. Using the power of the internet and using the advanced information technology capabilities that we now have, we are able to work very closely with partners across the world at a very low cost. For example, to understand demand, real-time customer engagement, demand planning, interactive product development, all this is possible. So that's why I said at the beginning that when we are talking about the Industry 4 revolution, it is not useful for us to continue to live in the old globalization era, but we have to develop the management capabilities, way of working, and also governments have to develop new policies to enable us to move to a new globalization era. Now, I just want to give you an example here, which is a factory in France. Now, this is a company which is making food, which has been making footwear, and they had offshored a lot of their production to the developing countries. Now, the vice president here says, and I quote, about 10 years ago, it became apparent that the way we have been producing in Asia up to now would no longer be the unique solution in the long term. With large factories, thousands of workers, and we have to build our own production in France. And new material developments, new production methods, digital design technologies, together with ongoing digitalization and automation, have created new possibilities. In other words, he's talking about Industry 4.0. So what they have done, this company has done is VP Footwear. They have set up an advanced shoe factory, which they call Factory 4.0, where they are using Industry 4 technologies from the cutting of the shoe components right up to finishing and packaging of the finished products. And within the next 2 years, they will have a capacity of 500,000 pairs of sports shoes per year. Now, what is interesting is that this factory will be fully automated with digitally controlled production. Instead of 500 people that would be needed to produce these 500,000 pairs per year, they now will be using only 50. This is thanks to Industry 4.0 technologies. Now, this is where the real issue lies. Because suppose, let us say, the salary of a person in in a Western country, let us say, was $1,000, and you could actually employ someone in a developing country for $100. It's 10 times cheaper. Now, if you need only 1/10 of the people, it becomes, from a cost perspective, it becomes reasonable to move it back to the developed country. Because now you need only 1/10 of the people, and even if the salary is 10 times higher, you will still incur the same costs. You will save a lot on transportation. There will be less delays. You are able to respond to your market faster. So this has very important implications for emerging economies. So given that, what we are now seeing is this. After the pandemic, there is a lot of interest in the Western world to rely less on supply chains based in low-cost labor locations, especially China. And in 2021, the French Minister of Economy and Finance called upon the European Union to rethink their approach to supply chains to assure sovereign and independent supplies. And many governments in the Western countries have announced plans to encourage more domestic production of basic necessities. In Australia, the task force led by Andrew Liveris has stated that Australia has drank the free trade juice for too long, and they have urged an end to the total reliance on offshoring and bring back manufacturing back again into Australia. So given that Industry 4.0 makes it possible to do all this, the question that then arises is, what should companies in the emerging economies like Sri Lanka do? The first thing we have to remember is that in emerging economies, for many years to come, there will still be companies in Industry 2.0 and 3.0 stages. But what is equally important to remember is that we must have at least some companies that are moving towards Industry 4, and so that there will be greater encouragement for the companies that are at the 2 and 3 stages to also start moving towards Industry 4. And the main reason is that the strategy of relying on cheap labor to attract outsourced work from firms in richer nations may not work for long when the rich companies overcome their teething problems and start fully utilizing the potential of Industry 4.0. They may not come to our low labor cost countries if they can produce it back home economically. But this is where there is something interesting that has also happened. Now, when Germany started this Industry 4.0 in a big way, Adidas started building what they call speed factories in Germany in order to produce shoes, very much like the French company. But then after some time, they stopped that and then started to transfer those Industry 4 technologies to companies in Asia. And one of the countries was China. Now in Germany, there was a lot of protest. They said, oh, you are developing all these Industry 4 technologies, learning how to use it, and then you are taking those factories to other countries in Asia. In fact, you are giving away all the intellectual property. But the argument of Adidas was that if a developing country has highly skilled, low-cost labor that can be used in Industry 4 factory, we can then produce products very quickly at even much lower costs. So the idea is that combining advanced Industry 4 technology with skilled low-cost labor and productive manufacturing could deliver greater competitive advantage. So the idea is that if a country like Sri Lanka could take this very seriously, we have very clever people in our country. The costs are lower. And if we can somehow create a setting where companies can start embracing Industry 4 technology, we can become even more competitive and become partners with some of the big companies in other parts of in the Western world. So that is one of the reasons why we started working on this project with uh, FCCISL and the Ministry of Industries. Now, even though there is all this enthusiasm, the president of the Federation of German Industries made a very sarcastic statement that the only success of Industry 4 is that it is on everyone's lips, meaning that people are talking about it, not doing much. And so we investigated the reason. Why is this? And one of the reasons is companies are worried whether they are capable enough to embrace an Industry 4, to move into an Industry 4 setting. So we thought that the best way to help a company to start the Industry 4 transformation journey is to provide them with a tool to assess how ready they are to move into an Industry 4.0 setting. So this is the basic the Industry 4 readiness assessment tool that we have developed. So what we did is we looked at a lot of the literature that had come out in many parts of the world. We looked at the work done by leading consulting companies all over the world. We looked at the research done by leading universities in different parts of the world. And the reason why we did that is many people, they look at very specific areas related to Industry 4.0. So by looking at it in a very comprehensive way and by looking at what has gone on throughout the world, what we did is we've been able to put all these ideas together and develop what we can call a holistic readiness assessment framework. In this holistic readiness assessment framework, we focus on 8 main determinants to assess the Industry 4 readiness of any organization. First, the strategy and organization of that particular company. Then we look at plant and equipment, information technology systems, the human resources, how they design new products, and then are managing their operations with respect to supply chain, manufacturing operations with respect to quality, and managing operations with respect to energy consumption. So what I had requested Mr. Kirti Gunawardena is to give a hard copy of the readiness assessment framework to all those present at the meeting. So I'm just going to illustrate only one, and then it will be very easy for you to know what is required. So these are the 8 determinants. So let us take the first determinant, which is strategy and organization. So under this determinant, strategy and organization, we have looked at several criteria. The first one is, to what extent is Industry 4.0 incorporated in the strategy of the company? Secondly, within the company, how much cross-functional collaboration is there? Thirdly, is the company allocating funds for Industry 4 investment? Fourthly, is the company measuring the impact of Industry 4 implementation. What kind of leadership do we have in the company from an Industry 4.0 perspective? And what kind of innovation orientation is there in the company? So when we looked at the work that has been done across the world, we found that we can divide it into 5 levels, starting with level 0, level 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, if we take extent of Industry 4 emphasis, level 0 means the Industry 4 has not been considered at all. At the highest level, the company has an enterprise-wide Industry 4.0 strategy, which is being implemented. And in between, we have different levels. Similarly, for interfirm collaboration, level 0 is there is no collaboration within the various functional departments of a company. And at the highest level, there is very good cross-functional collaboration. Then when it comes to allocation of funds at the lowest level, the company has not put any funds to even look at whether it's worth moving into Industry 4.0. At the highest level, enterprise-wide investments have been made. When it comes to leadership, at the lowest level, top management has not recognized the value of Industry 4.0 and adopts a business as usual attitude. At the highest level, there is enterprise-wide support for Industry 4.0. There is a culture of sharing lessons learned and disseminating the knowledge gained. So similarly, innovation orientation, at the lowest level, the company does not really have any formal R&D. They just pick up whatever ideas comes across and whatever catches their fancy, they work on it. At the highest level, we have a supply chain wide adoption of open innovation, where you pick up knowledge from suppliers, customers, and other technology partners, put those together. So what I am showing here in blue is what we did in one large company in the ASEAN region. So when we did this readiness assessment, the management team in that company used this and said, with respect to extent of Industry 4, we are here. With respect to intra-firm collaboration, we are here. With respect to critical allocation of funds, we are here. And they identified this in blue. So given that, what we can do is, we can give some points for these. So as you can see here, level 2, we give 2 marks or 2 points. Level 3, we give 3 points. So here we have for each of those 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, and the total score is 16. But if they were all at the highest level of 4, then we would have 24. So this company's score is 16 out of 24 with respect to strategy and organization. Similarly, for plant and equipment, we can do a similar categorization. So I'm not going to go through this, but here again, what I'm showing in blue is what that particular company had. So we did this for that company, for the very large company. Professor Prem and I worked on it together. And what we see here is, here are the overall scores, and here are the average scores for that company with respect to each of those determinants. So the hard copies that you have, it shows how to rate the strategy and organization plan. So the management team has to decide at what level they are by looking at each of those. And so here we have this kind of, for the company that we studied, we have this. Now we know where we are, because outside here is the kind of maximum that you can get. And so we know that we are here. So for example, managing energy consumption, this company is at a very low level, so they need to move very high. With respect to strategy and organization, they seem to be pretty good, but they need to move further. So we can develop this kind of a web diagram or ray diagram, as it is called, to show where we are. Now, the next question that very often everybody will ask is, oh, my company is not a very large company. I am not Elon Musk's company. I am not Tesla or I am not Siemens. I can't do everything. I can't become robotics overnight. So what we have done, again, Professor Prem and I worked on this and we published a journal article as well. What we are saying here is you don't need to get to the highest level all at once. We can start moving gradually. We have to start somewhere. So we developed this framework to show how we can start at the lowest level and step by step move forward by investing money gradually. We don't need to have millions and millions of dollars right at the beginning to move to an industry 4 setting. For example, at the stage 1, we can start strengthening our ERP system. We can start strengthening our manufacturing execution system. We can start investing in some of the sensors, actuators, programmable logic controllers. These can be easily done. And in Sri Lanka, we have enough engineering skills to do this. And simultaneously, we start looking at improving energy consumption, improving quality, improving product customization. We start looking at traceability, product traceability, material traceability with respect to manufacturing. Then we move to further and further until we become completely flexible manufacturing with robotics and all that. Similarly, with respect to IT, we can initially start digital data collection, remote monitoring, and then eventually move to full machine-to-machine capability and virtualization. Then supply chain, first, within the company, we can have good information flow, visibility, and then start working with suppliers and customers. Then the essential enablers are continuous skill development of our people. We start by using the cloud, and then we move gradually towards secure and advanced interconnectivity, big data, and analytics. So the point is that we don't have to say that, oh, we don't have money to move into robotics and all that. We can start small. And as we start doing it and we see the advantages, then the enthusiasm within the company grows, the resources will be found, and then we can start progressing forward. So what are some of the lessons that we have learned from global experience? Firstly, without total top management commitment, the Industry 4 journey cannot begin. It is not the job of the engineers in your companies to start Industry 4.0. Although they have an important role to play, it is top management that must drive this movement. Only then will everybody else follow. I'm an engineer, I'm a mechanical engineer. I have worked in companies in Sri Lanka. And what I find is that, in fact, when I was an engineer, the people in finance and marketing and all that, they used to call me a grease monkey because they thought that is the job of engineers. Your job is just to repair. So they don't really respect them that much. But if top management says, I want Industry 4.0 and I want you to work together, then the engineers will be able to do it. So top management commitment is the most important thing. Secondly, as I just mentioned, we don't have to do in a big bang approach. We don't have to do everything at once. We can do it in a phased manner. And as we keep implementing, we'll be making savings. Our profits will increase. We can plow that money for the next phase. So we can go gradually. What will obviously happen is large companies will move much faster into Industry 4 because they have the resources. Small and medium enterprises will struggle because they won't have the resources. This is where the government has a very big role to play by creating the necessary policies and providing support to small and medium enterprises, and of course also the large enterprises, to move into an Industry 4 setting. So for that, we need very good policy instruments. And when I talk about policy instruments, we have to talk about legal instruments, fiscal, that is taxation instruments, and financial. financial support instruments that the government will have to create to provide confidence to companies to get started and sustain the momentum. So lastly, before I conclude, what I want to do is, I just want to, I'm thinking aloud. What is important is that a center of excellence must be created in Sri Lanka. I'm not talking about creating a new public sector company or whatever. It can be a joint public-private partnership approach where a center of excellence must be created, which enjoys the confidence of both business and government. And the purpose of the center of excellence would be to promote the Industry 4 movement. So this center of excellence can network with government agencies, universities, engineering firms, research centers, professional association, banks, international agencies, in order to create the synergy and find the expertise and skills. So for example, we could conduct seminars, workshops, training programs, try to also conduct programs not just on industry transition planning, but also productivity improvement, maintenance management, lean manufacturing, and so on. Provide online services or databases related to Industry 4 technologies, planning and implementation. So for example, what Professor Prem is now going to talk about is an online service that we can provide to companies on how to carry out a readiness assessment. Provide these readiness self-assessment tools. What the hard copies that we have given you can be easily turned into online and provided free of charge to any company that wants to use it. And combined with the online service that Professor Prem is going to talk about, we can easily do that. We can develop local consultants who can provide Industry 4 technology adoption expertise. So we need people who are familiar with cloud computing, those who are very good in adopting sensor technology. So you can have a register of consultants who can provide services, and any company that wants to move into this can then search this directory and starts contacting those consultants. And then provide networking meetings. So the Center of Excellence can organize breakfast meetings or luncheon meetings, or just simply evening seminars where people who are trying this Industry 4 transition could come together, talk with each other, share experiences, and then learn from each other. Now, what I am saying here is these are some of the best practices that have been adopted globally by countries which have been very successful in promoting not just Industry 4.0, but many other areas as well. So with that, I'll stop my presentation. I will be sharing this presentation with Mr. Kirti Gunawardana, and anyone who wants a copy of this presentation could get it from Mr. Kirti, or Mr. Kirti could probably email it to all of you. So with that, I'll stop my presentation. And thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, Professor Ramanathan. I think it's quite a clear presentation to everyone. So let me introduce Professor Saranayaka also. I think you know that we have to take a lot of things from Professor Rama's presentation in the journey of moving forward with the Industry 2.0. I think probably the Ministry of Industry also has a lot to take from out of this session, which has to be done from their side as well. So let me introduce Professor Prema Samarnayaka. He obtained his BSc Engineering degree with the first class honors, postgraduate diploma in computer science, and PhD from University of Melbourne. He completed some certification on best practices in ERP, and he is a certified solution consultant of ERP for small and mid-sized enterprises. Currently, he is working at Western Sydney University, Australia. His area of expertise include supply chain management, production planning, business process management, and enterprise resource planning. He is actively engaged in research collaboration with industry and has completed several research projects in recent times. Let me invite Senior Professor Premanathan Samanayaka to make his presentation. He will explain you how you can use a friendly online tool to assess your Industry 4.0 readiness.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Kirti Gunawardana, for very kind introduction. And I'd like to also extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Chaminda Pathiraja, Additional Secretary in Ministry of Industries, and all my colleagues, Mr. and Engineer, of course, Sena Piris, Engineer Nihal Pure, and Professor Chandra Pereira, and not without any, my colleague and close colleague who have been working and been a mentor for a long time, my Dr. Ramanathan as well. So, and also distinguished guests and all the participants of this workshop. And I'll start with sharing my screen now, and let me know whether you can see the screen, Kirti, and then I can start the presentation.
Can see.
Okay, I'm about to start the presentation mode. Now, can you see the presentation mode?
Yeah.
Okay, now thank you. And again, my sincere thanks to Dr. Raman, who has very much explained the overall Industry 4 readiness and the assessment and the Industry 4, and makes my job much easier. And this is very much an online tool that we're going to demonstrate, and it could be a very short presentation. Now, to start with, I also like to make a point that the emphasis on this particular presentation is only a starting point, and also the assessment needs the each and every organizations, the members from the different functional departments. Now, going with the online tool based on the work that Dr. Rama first started with, the assessing Industry 4 using the 8 determinants, and the help and the work by my other colleague who is a PhD student, and she can't be here today, and Samanthi Veerabahu, who made this online tool on the spreadsheet application. And we're going to demonstrate that using a dashboard as an example. Now, with the determinants that we have already seen from Dr. Rama's presentation, my focus is to go through each one of these determinants on the online tool. The first thing, the online tool is used to assess Industry 4 readiness at firm level. That's very much what we are talking, not across supply chain. Every organization has to assess the Industry 4 in their firm level. And also, when we do complete you will get the survey link or the online tool link, and with the password after this presentation through Mr. Kirti Gunawardana. And then if you are interested in completing, and then we can send you a copy of the initial outcome as a dashboard, and then you can also have the next stage of the development of your journey with our guidance as required. So without further, I will go into the present or the online tool. That is, I hope this link will work. Now, because I went on to a online tool, can you see my screen now on a different browser? Can you, Kirti, see the screen?
Yeah.
With the,
Yeah,
okay, good. Okay, now what I have done, I have skipped the first screen that requires the password. And this particular page is to accept that you are happy to do the online self-assessment. And as a part of any research project, we usually say this is something that you are consenting to provide the details. As emphasized on this page, every information that you provide are confidential and kept to only ourselves, and there will be no disclose of any company information. And again, the information that we are asking or you are completing on this online tool are very much on the 8 determinants. So we are only asking some of the organization details only to provide you with the dashboard after the completion. So, and there is an email on this particular online tool, and that is Samanthi's email address. When you complete it, we do get the outcome, and also if you do have any queries, we can write to Samanthi as well as one of us, Dr. Rama and myself. So without going any further on this particular page, the self-assessment starts on this particular description or the page where we are asking, do you participate in the Industry 4 workshop? Why we ask this question? To gauge how much you are aware of the Industry 4 in terms of the background, why we need to do it, and what's the benefit of doing it, as Dr. Rama explained. So by saying yes or no, it will help us to gauge your basic knowledge of Industry 4. Now, since this tool has been developed for global application, we do have a set of countries. Now, definitely when you do it, you have to choose the country. That is, I'm also going to do it quickly because that will help you to see what we are doing. And if any other question, you can, of course, we can answer the question later on. Now, I have chosen Sri Lanka. Please identify the specific subsector. Why? Because depending on the sector within the manufacturing industry, it could also have a different kind of readiness. So we like to see if we are going to do readiness at different sectors, that will also help us to see how much the readiness in different sectors in Sri Lanka. Say, for example, we choose this leather and related products. Now we go to the next screen. Now, why do we need this information? Because we like to, you can have your organization name anonymous, but up to you. And if you do mention the name, it will be kept very confidential. Indicate your email address. Again, it is just because we like to send you the dashboard after completing this. So I'll simply have this. Now, this is about the demographic of the organization, and also it will help us to see whether you are a small, medium, or large organization. All of this information is useful when we look at readiness assessment, not just by the determinants, but also in terms of where you are in the industry sector. Now we'll say this many employees, what is your designation? Now, this is the very important point. Although we say this is a self-assessment by an organization, this requires many managers or the employees of the organization. Why? Because there are 8 determinants that touch different areas of the operations of the organization. So, but what we are asking here is the leader of that self-assessment team. So it could be the general manager, or if it is a chief executive officer, yes, then it can be very much what we are saying. This is the leader that you are choosing as the team of the Industry 4 readiness assessment. If other, please specify. So we don't have to do that if you choose one of them. Otherwise, you write down the role of the leader in that team. And going with the determinants, I'm going to do it very quickly. Why? Because this is not the time to explain the criteria of each determinant, rather to demonstrate how it works. If you do not choose one criterion in each determinant, it will not proceed. So that's the idea. And for example, I think Dr. Rama explained with that blue highlighted text, with each one of the determinant, we had several criteria. For each criterion, we have several levels. So we choose one for each criterion, and then we'll go to the next determinant. So in this case, if you remember, Dr. Rama explained the first determinant, that's the strategy and organization with 6 criteria. So I'm choosing the fourth one now, and the leadership, I'll say this level, and then the innovation orientation, I'll probably say 2. Now, I might not get the number here because until you complete. Now, one of the questions we had earlier, can we do it by saving? We can't save it at the middle of this. Idea is to have a good meeting before you come to complete this. And given a hard copy that we have shared, you might go through the determinants and all of the criteria and then the levels and have a better understanding, and then a number of meetings as required and get ready to do the online, because online tool is only once time, you can't save it in the middle. So that is how we have developed this tool. Now, if you go to the second determinant, plant and equipment, I think Dr. Ram also explained this very briefly. And again, my presentation is all about choosing one, so that we'll go to each one of these criteria and then choose the levels. So by doing that, I can now go to the next one. I probably use very quickly about each one of these. I think you will appreciate, yes, for choosing one criteria and the level needs a lot of knowledge in that particular area. So for example, ICT, we are into the second one, the third one. Yes, maybe the team from the ICT department will do this particular determinant. So it's a collective exercise. It's not by one person. It's not like a survey that you usually do it for a research project. So I'm choosing while we are talking about this, and all of these criteria are very much based on the contemporary literature and have been also updated in recent times. So the descriptives or the descriptions of each one of these criteria and the levels are very much up to date in terms of the Industry 4 readiness at firm level. So I go to the human resources. Again, as Dr. Rama mentioned, the skill and develop the skills, and the skill, the human resources are a part of, and there is a lot of emphasis now on this particular one. So I'm going to quickly go through this determinant and then to see how we can get to the last one. So I'm choosing just randomly and then to complete. Is there any question? I think it is the
Professor Prem, is there any chance that you can enlarge the screen a bit?
yes, I can. Just a minute. Probably have to. I think it is running. This one is. I'll probably do the. Can you see better now? Or let me just increase this thing and probably 110, 20. Is it better?
Yeah, a little bit.
But I got a problem with the running in the back. Okay, I got it. Lucky. Now, the determinant 5, product definition. As Dr. Ram again mentioned, yes, this one also has got a number of criteria. I'll probably pick one of these for each criteria. I'll choose one level. So, for example, there are only 3 criteria under product definition. Then I'll go to the next one, and it is quite slow because we are running this Qualtrics software online tool. Now, on determinant 6, energy consumption management, and I'll choose this for the first criterion, and then this level for the second one, and the third, and then I'll go to the next determinant. Hopefully it will come soon. Yes, now we are into the quality management, and again you have a quality assurance. I can choose one of these and I'll do this, and only there are 2 criteria for quality. Then we come to the last determinant, supply chain management, and do the demand information, the level 3 of the first criterion, and then probably the second, the level 1 for the second one, and probably ERP system used to update inventory levels, warehouse management, and this. Now, having done the complete or having completed the self-assessment using this tool, what you see, you'll have a yes, this is required, and then you can download PDF. So in my case, yes, when you do complete this, you can download the complete report. And if it takes time, I'll probably switch to the Excel spreadsheet that I can show you the dashboard. Let me see whether, yeah, so it is exactly the same thing that you have done. Now you have got a PDF file. So when you do that, you get a PDF file, you can save it, and then you can have a good look at what you have done. Now, if you want to revise it, yes, you can do it again. Same password, doesn't matter how many times you do it. You get this completed again, and then you can have a next iteration if you like. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the dashboard of the probably I'll minimize this. Kirti, now can you see the dashboard, or you want me to increase the phone? Yeah.
You make only the, that portion enlarge better.
Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, now, see now what you have seen, what we've gone through is just the online tool, and we came up with that PDF file. And the other thing we also going to provide after completing this online tool is the dashboard. The dashboard simply looks like this. I think Dr. Rama explained the spider diagram, and you can see each and every determinant has got a score and also the maximum score. Now you can see this, and whatever the input that you have given on the online tool are shown here. And I know the example that Dr. Rama showed in his presentation had a 52, this one 53. It's not the same thing. This is coincidentally, it came very close to it. I know very much, if you do it maybe few times, if you are not happy with the first assessment, yes, you will have a good understanding of, yes, what level you are. Now, the point also I like to make here, as Dr. Rama mentioned, yes, it could be difficult or may not be possible to do complete Industry 4 adoption in each and every area. So maybe you will prioritize some of the areas that you want to do. The other thing that we are also doing in this context, we have developed another tool to prioritize these. Now, doesn't mean you will have one determinant that you are targeting. So what we also have developed a multi-criteria decision-making tool that you need some inputs from your managers in the organization, can then complete that and come up with priorities based on your requirements. Sometimes the priorities could be based on not just the budget, maybe other requirements, maybe the quality is your main requirement. And that is the other thing that we can also do after completing this. So if I just stop sharing the screen, and the online tool will give you the PDF file, plus we'll provide the dashboard with the each and every determinant, what level, and the overall assessment. And then going forward, we are happy to be involved in providing some guidelines to develop your priorities, and also to make your implementation journey by choosing some of the priorities. So pretty much that's what I like to conclude from here. And if any questions, we can answer the questions during the question and answer time. Kirti, that concludes my presentation. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Craig, for your presentation. And thank you so much for supporting all the time for initiative bringing Sri Lanka Industry 4.0 and to understand the industries to their level of in separate areas. So if we have any questions now, we can take it up within our room here. If there are any questions, we can take it up first.
To start with, I think you made a presentation right at the very beginning in the Asian region, focusing on readiness.
Yeah.
You had Sri Lanka readiness.
Sri Lanka is not in the picture. Actually, we didn't do any kind of initiative. That is how, being such a report, involved almost all the mobile companies. Sri Lanka represents almost all mobile companies. So then they will give that data. So we don't have that kind of initiative. It's sad, actually countries like Bangladesh and all that.
Yeah.
All of us know. So about 10 years back and today's situation completely transformed their country.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I mean, whether you have initiated or alerted the Minister of Digital Infrastructure, we have a ministry, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, how you are connected network with them, that is a government institution, plus we have certain quite a number of ERP solution providers here in town. And I think some of us are already integrated with them. Some of us are having the solutions in place.
Yeah.
So the other point is what actually the mobile operators, we have mobile penetration is one of the highest in the region. So I think it's important to get everybody together in this kind of situation, because some of them have gone to, the large companies have gone into this, right? And we are at different scales.
Yes.
So it is a collective information gathering is important to see where we are now.
Actually, we started with the large companies. During the COVID time, we found, even we were worried, even the large companies will have serious effects. If the exports comes down as a country, we will fall in a bad way. That's where we started. What we did was like each of us, our team, myself, every one of us, start talking to the companies and get them to come in for this. And there, once we made the presentation, we found, some of the companies, they contacted Professor Ramnath and go on and made him, lot of initiatives took place. And they also realized that certain things which they've been thinking before as they are good, is not that good, and they need a lot of improvement. Things like energy consumption and things like that, they found, they have not given enough emphasis on those. Those things they improved a lot. We can tell, one large company, tire manufacturing, so they were very much involved in this project. Always, they contacted us. We also gave whatever the support that we could give. So like, here what we are doing, so we are a chamber, they are a academic organization. We can take the horse to the water. So nothing that we can do beyond, but only thing is, this forum can be used to, force the government, force the organizations to make sure that Sri Lanka is in the picture. Because as it is, we are going out of the picture.
Yeah, Mr. President, now just to say, I'm glad to brothers like the professor, we are Madam Bangladesh.
So the point
We are glad to our brothers. So President, and it's very clearly the first the Professor Ramnath.
Yeah.
Clearly showed Madam the Prime Minister from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
How she attended and the interest that had been taken by the Prime Minister. So okay, compare and comply. That's the way to go. There's no other whether it is plus minuses, we have to face it. So like you said for Chandradas, your friend with the immediate plus president and also the chairman of the advisory committee. He pointedly said okay, where Sri Lanka? Point blank, the answer was Sri Lanka is nowhere. So how do we go? And okay, this forum here is really valuable. We can see what I told our brother, really valuable. And I have already texted the Council of Management. It's very interesting program, which is being progress thanks to you. Right? And with the photographs I have already shared. And hope that we can share the other things, but we have hard copies. What I am trying to say is that, what is the forum that we are going to head? But if you take one by one, where are the large companies, corporate sector, whether it is going to be useful or not, or whether you are going to take a handful, or whether you are going to take the entire strength, so that it will be cherry on the cake for the industries. What you are doing, Mr. President. I'm telling you, I don't want to please you, but the fact is that so valuable things, but it said only the forum that we are here. Believe there are giants in the manufacturing or the corporate sector.
Yeah.
So why don't you try that? And it has to come from the top. Thanks to our additional secretary here, who is a dear friend of us.
Yeah.
Who had contributed not to the packaging industry, I should say, but get the whole the people starting from the top. I don't know from the president or whether it is from the industry, that I don't know. But what I am trying to say is that not as a group, getting on a full force and doing a professional thing, so that you're really you're valuing your efforts. Thank you.
Actually, what we want from the federation point of view, what I thought was, if Sri Lanka has almost all the potential to develop, and we are, as I said in the presentation also, we say we are a very literate country, IT knowledge, infrastructure, IT, all we are good. But only thing is some of the areas we are not in the picture. So we should be in the picture. Only when you take the Asian countries, we should
answer that is now this particular assessment, you have to do it for the country also. Simple, very simple logic is that, right? Then you get an output from that, right? So now, before going into details, what I want to tell you is, at which level that we should steer this program, right? Because I have a feeling that I think this has to be a national level program that we need to steer. Number one. Second thing is, then of course we can collaborate with other that is integrated with other areas, right? IT sector. So many other areas are integrated, right? For us to go into get the basics right in the industry sector, right? And also, we should say that we are sitting in Colombo and talking on these things. What we are talking here mostly are relevant to Western. Western province handles about 50% of the economy, right? So Western province has to be separately considered in this type of program, whereas the other provinces, say, let's say one is in 1.0 and other one is Western province is in 3.0.
Yeah.
And within the Western province also some industries are 1.0 and others are 3.0. You get that kind of differences, right? Volatility. So we have to create it in the national level. I think we are really thankful to both professors, Professor Ramanathan and this also very serious for the presentations.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that steering of this has to be first, blueprint has to be that clear. Then only we can move forward.
Yeah, sure. Really valid the point, and
that as you both mentioned that income technology, they have taken some initiative to introduce that industry 4.0 to the industry. And I think that I believe that some of our advisory committee representatives participated for that program that we had with the chairmanship of both the ministers, the digital infrastructure and also the interface minister. And both ministers that they co-chaired the meeting and then we had the initial discussion about that introducing the 34.0. That ministry also the digital infrastructure, they are also doing. And the major thing is that earlier, actually, that the Ministry of Industry also, in that, as I mentioned, in our policy, the industry policy, that we have, one of our major goal is to infuse this industry 4.0 technology applications and the technology to the industry. Then both are in a way, but that the major drawback we face is the knowledge. Actually, that we had, we could find a good resource person to discuss this and then to present this thing that we found only the one resource person from Mars that we are planning to do an awareness session the next week. That in our event calendar, in the Ministry of Industry event calendar, we have the awareness programs for industry 4.0. Then 4.0 applications, and then one time more. That through especially that we need to talk to the chamber, because that most of that, as you very correctly mentioned, most of these in the giant players are the members of those the chambers. That's the ministry representative, the representation of the ministry that goes, most of the industries are small and medium. But then from the ministry side that we can assure that we will conduct the awareness session, that we will arrange the awareness session, that if you can arrange that the presentations by that, especially that the two professors from University of Sydney, then the industry will then get some idea and that they will get some knowledge about this. That we will arrange a series of the awareness session that you can, that if you can give us the time and all. That is one initiative. Then the next one is that with the digital infrastructure, that we will have a discussion. And even I will inform the minister, honorable minister and the secretary, and that we will have a higher level meeting with them. How to then do this assessment. That because then even that we have to take Sri Lanka into the picture, that even that level would be the different thing. That maybe that we are in a very below level, but that we have to know where we are. Then only that we can decide that we are going.
I mean, we have to start somewhere.
Yeah, not that all the organizations.
Higher level meeting that we will initiate, then the secretary and all that I will discuss with him. And then also we'll do that.
Also, I mean, must I do that?
No, actually, Professor Anand also mentioned, that, some of the good practices in other countries, he said, place for excellence, then of course all the resources will be utilized through that, if anyone has Professor Anand, do you like to share something from your side? I believe that, you heard the conversation. What we were discussing here is like as a country, every organization, this has to go to every level, and it's the government as well as for the industry, both sides. Do you have any more ideas to share?
I think all of you there probably know the situation better, and it would be not very correct for me to sort of try to tell you what to do. But my personal feeling is that we should have parallel initiatives. I think that would be important. Because rather than saying that we are really going to do something first and then after that do something else. And if you adopt that sequential approach, it will take a lot of time. So my suggestion is that if you think it is feasible, to have parallel initiatives. One initiative would be to conduct the survey, trying to find out at what level we are in different parts of Sri Lanka. So that is something which is very important and very useful to do. But at the same time, we should have another opportunity where companies that are interested should be able to get started. And so the Center of Excellence should be able to provide them with whatever support, training, whatever is necessary. And so we should have I think we should have parallel initiatives so that these findings of each of these initiatives reinforce the other. And we are able to make good progress within a short time, rather than doing things sequentially, because when we do things sequentially, it can take a lot of time, and globally, the situation is evolving very rapidly. So by the time we finish this, there will be new developments that have come in. So we should get into this very quickly. So it would be good to have parallel initiatives. So that's just a general suggestion that I have.
Thank you, Professor Samanathan. I think,
One more thing, say, if you take packaging, even like industry 4.0, we also have packaging 4.0, right? Yeah. So it's very visible for the sector. And some of them have, if you take SAP, right? I mean, when you mention Center of Excellence, I know that is SAP, ERP driven. So even at least the evaluation. So if you take in our sector, large companies, about 10 to 12 companies are with the fully fledged ERP solution is available, right? SAP alone. Right?
Yes.
There are other ERP solution providers are also there. So large companies are integrated with their supply chain, upward and downward state. So that integration is happening. Right. So important thing, and if you take I mean, our industry is a highly capital intensive industry. You know that, right? So from the supplier base, right, the machinery supply, equipment supply base, right? That is also certain amount of things, cloud-based softwares and machine integration interfaces are in place. Last 10 years, these investments have come to the industry.
Just so that everyone know, the USA has a couple of programs going on where they support SMEs and MSMEs with the implementation of ERP and also deep. I'm not sure how far we have been realized. It might be more now that they pay 75% of the cost of 3 or 4 months, and then the company decides whether they keep it going or from that time they should be able to do whether it's feasible. So USA's might be a good place. Looking for funding, maybe one of the first things we have to do is something like ERP implementation, and that might help some of these companies, especially SMEs, to start this process.
US said with us also, I mean, indicated that, our program, Industry 4.0, which is very important to Sri Lanka. So at least in a time we have gone to the bottom. Now it's a time that, we have to start from the bottom to upwards. So that is, we mentioned this, actually they came to us asking whether we have any ideas. So we gave that idea. They said, okay, they will include in their next year program. They also felt, that Sri Lanka has a huge potential. Not only, I'm not talking the industry 4.0 to use only in the manufacturing sector, even on other sectors, also this can be used, countries like Singapore and all that, they have used to a great extent like that. So these are the possibilities.
I think, Mr. Bhattacharya, yeah, with this certificate program, we can incorporate, part of that, you mentioned that. Awareness can be given, so even whatever the study programs that we have, we can incorporate these points, these cases. 1 hour, 1.5 hour, small sessions. And hopefully we can invite Professor Ramnathan for, to connect us. Zoom in one of those programs.
Yeah.
That will be really helpful.
And so we can do that actually, we will support for that.
Thanks.
True. Now, what we want is like, many of us, we were involved with the chambers for a long time, so we've been spending a lot of time and energy on those matters. So we also want to see that the Sri Lanka prosper, like that's the whole idea of this exercise.
I think CCS initiative and I
Can you use the mic?
I agree with Professor because we got to see how we can fast track this whole process.
Yeah.
Because we are almost lost time. So rather than talking about what we have lost, so having the of the instructor thing, agree with rather about making this a national program and find ways and means how we can fast track it by doing everything parallelly. So because now there are companies who are already implemented. There are large companies. And there are companies who are capable of doing it. And there are companies who are not aware of it. So there are different categories of companies. So we got to bring them into one forum and see how the people who have implemented, if they can impart their knowledge to others, that will be a great thing. So there are companies who will be prepared to do it. So to do that, I think the Ministry of Industries have to take the initiative. And we as private sector have to support it. So we as private sector in the chambers, especially. So fast tracking is the most important thing. And I know if you are fully supported by the people on the side. So talking about resource, they are already here. Professor Ramnathan and the team, we can get together and work out an action plan. I think we'll be able to make it work.
We can probably connect the academia also on this.
Yes, we have to get academia.
We can expose, I think,
Already SWIFT is a partner with us.
correct.
All other universities also can use it.
So our at least allocate the,
Yeah. Actually, Professor Ajit also took part with us on session. He's also very keen, he's a person, Nihal, both of them, they are the trustee, the policy committee as well as, in many other areas.
future generation will be, fully aware of
Yes.
when they are going into the industry that, the concept and the how to steer it, right? Because the company owners are not aware of it. Then the focus is not there.
Sure.
Can
Can we ask, there was somebody raised the hand there?
Oh, that is me. Sorry, Kirti. Can I?
Somebody else wanted to speak, they were.
No, that was me. Maybe someone else as well, but you want me to. I got a couple of points to add. That's all. If you,
If you have.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to add when I think when Dr. Rama mentioned this parallel initiatives, I thought that is a great idea. And also to add to what he also mentioned as part of the some lessons from global experience. It could be not just the parallel initiatives, but also with some I don't know how the Sri Lankan Ministry of Industry initiate things for the manufacturing sector, but incentives could be always part of. I know in some countries, some sectors they have incentives. So I don't know whether there is any kind of incentives by the governments for these manufacturing. And also when we look at this industry for readiness assessment at firm level, those firms are not by themselves, although their readiness is assessed at the firm level, they are part of a global supply chain. Now, there is no question, they work in global supply. The question is how they work in the supply chain. Idea is to see whether these separate sectors are considered and identify when, say, many organizations have completed this industry for readiness assessment at firm level, and to see what sectors are behind compared to others within the same manufacturing sector. If that is something the Ministry of Industries could look into, and then to make some incentives or what, because there could be some industries so behind by other sectors within the same manufacturing. So I'm talking about, while the parallel initiatives are very good idea, also to see how different sectors are doing, or at what levels of industry for readiness, and whether there are much need for certain sectors to be, have the industry for initiatives in a way that it can come to a certain level of readiness across many sectors. So this is something very much along with the lines of that some lessons from global experience I would like to add. So just the additional things. I know that it could be a lot of things by the Ministry of Industries like to do, but if the Ministry of Industries could also have that kind of ideas, part of that global experience idea of center of excellence, and then to have these things in parallel with the incentives could be useful, and also to see what sectors are very much in need for that kind of initiatives.
Facilitates actually what sort of advantages that we get by doing the readiness assessment. There are three very important things: productivity, quality, and actually downtime reduction. We have found that as you know that productivity levels are fairly across the board, I think it's low. And also we all want to improve our quality, including even food safety. Now all those things will be very much facilitated and a lot of advantages by doing this readiness assessment. And especially I would like to mention, even in the service sector, for example, like sector like health services. As we know that downtime of equipment are very high, even in the hospitals, that can result in even like affecting the patients. By doing this sort of assessment, Industry 4.0 can provide solutions to improve quality, improve productivity, as well as safety, and reducing downtime. So these are some of the advantages, I think, why we should go for the readiness assessment in a parallel way.
Thank you, Nihan. And then I think time is up, and we conclude. Should I ask the same please to final remarks? But before that, let me just explain. Sena is a person in this forum. Sena is mechanical engineer from the University of Pennsylvania. He has over 25 years of experience in different capacities. From late 90s, he became an engineer specializing in cleaner production. He was the founder director of the National Cleaner Production Center. Now he works as a director of the Business and Industry Development Service, providing consultancy to energy and sustainability. He is the chairman of the National Expert Committee on Climate Change Mitigation and president of the Sri Lanka Responsible yeah, council too. So let me, invite Mrs.
Thank you, Katie. I think I don't want to take much time. You have heard, I think, enough. I think I don't have to convince you again. Now, I think what's important is many companies, if they go through this assessment, the determinants are very important to improve the productivity of an organization, especially energy consumption and IT improvement is going to definitely improve the productivity and the quality. So I think energy is an issue today for everybody. So energy consumption management is something where I think we can benefit, all the industries can benefit to that. Probably the Minister of Industry has taken, I think, very, I think, important step forward to come and start this and inviting all the advisory committee chairman and representatives. So I think we have to appreciate the effort, and especially the secretary, though she is not here. And I believe they will continue to do that. So we can, I'm sure we can work together, as Rama mentioned, we can have an actual center of excellence. I think another important thing is, as I think Prof. Ganraj said, and also I think Rama also mentioned, that we have to make sure that people have some incentives. Because what we can do, I think we don't have to give additional incentives, maybe energy savings, quality improvement, even supply chain, I think streamlining will be definitely benefits to them. But in addition to that, probably the chambers can include industry for readiness as part of their award. When they have the annual awards, it can be one of the criteria. So that I think we have Federation as award ceremony, CNCI is having award ceremony, Ceylon Chamber of Exporters is having award ceremony. So they can include this as a part of maybe sort of a current criteria. So automatically all those participants will at least go through this assessment, using the framework. I'm sure frame will be very happy to actually help you if you are interested. Please, I think we can direct to Prem, and then they actually, your information will be totally confidential. They will do the assessment and they will send you this dashboard. So I'm sure, as I think Mr. Patra said, we'll be able to have more training programs, not very long, maybe even for the top levels of the industries. So the large industries are doing it because it has become compulsory, like the packaging industry, the large organization, and the apparel industry are engaged because it has become important for them to be at that level. Because without doing these basic elements and even industry for components, they won't be able to be at that level. That's why we are having a superior, I think, recognition in the world as I mean, one of the best suppliers of apparel in the world. So probably, so that may be the thing we have to inculcate in the other sectors as well. So I hope, I think, with your presence, those who are here, I'm sure we'll be able to continue to move forward. And maybe I request Minister of Industries to make sure that this team continue to be with you in this journey forward, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, so that you can take the message to your sectors and continue it as well. So with this, I conclude, and thank you all for being with us.
Thank you, Sena. Actually, Sena was a great supporter to me. When I took over the presidency, he came on board. He and Hinal great and supported this journey. So that's how we started. Actually, Professor Ramanathan and they too were studying together at the Peradini University. That's how this has started. So anyway, now we have done a great, support to the industry. We not charge anything, so we did all free sessions with these people and taken a lot of time to explain and support them. And of course, we need to go to the extent of telling whom to use and things like that. But of course, we have gone to the extent what has to be done, we can address them. And of course, thank you for the Ministry of Industries, Mr. Chamindra Patiraja, always helpful person and like the Sri Lankan industries to grow. And of course, with me today, I think Secretary General Jilan, so you can access to us. And today, all these presentations I will email you. So when I send you the email, some of the emails got bounce. Please give all the email addresses. I will share all this information with you. And there is a total report of the Asian this industry 2.0, so which I took few slides out of that. That also I will share with you. That will give you an indication what is happening around us and where are we. So we need to do some corrective steps soon. So I think as a you know, this initiative, I think we have to be thankful to people, you know, that is Mrs. Tilaka Jayasundara, the Secretary of Ministry of Industry, who's my friend also. We were together at the university. That was another consolation that we can do things together. And another very special lady, Inoka, she has been always supportive for this course. And we should appreciate them also. I think, you know, as a final thing, now the things that we have discussed, you know, now what happens is now we do not see that, you know, the top level, there is an initiative to think that Industry 4.0 should be a priority in Sri Lanka. Can we do a press release or something like that out of this one and publish that, you know, this needs to be done from the top level, this is or something like that. Maybe we'll draft something and share with you.
But I mentioned that earlier that we will have a deep discussion with the honorable minister, both ministers, which of industry and the technology. And then after that, we will at that time that we will discuss.
Sure, we'll discuss.
So we just that in the press release with the presence of honorable minister that will get some final.
Okay, yeah.
I know that's as a president, morning president.
Yeah.
You know, in my experience, experience and just want to share with you and stick for the time.
Yeah.
It's very important. Start at 10 o'clock and if you are scheduled to end at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
End at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, sure.
But there are people, you know, they when you know, spread all unwanted thoughts, not for us.
Yeah.
But there are.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
almost
yeah, we're finished.
Yes.
Finishing actually, whatever was about why we said that. About 15 minutes we were started late. So I think that's not, you know, we otherwise the presentations are.
Understand.
Yes, understand.
And also one thing that we will create a WhatsApp group by using the all these numbers that today you that mentioned, and also that I will include all our advisory committee chairman that here that we have only few of the advisory committee chairman that we have 20 advisory committee chairman. I will include them into this WhatsApp group, and also the chamber representative that we have chamber representative that we will include them all. Then we have a good group that we can share all these details into them, and even that we can share any ideas. Sure. Even that if you can prepare a small note about that industry 4.0 importance, and especially about that the readiness study, the online readiness study, and now that how to go and all that, how to do it, okay, and all. Then we can share among all the industries that we have. Out of the industry that working with the Ministry of Industry that we can share with them. There is a facility, it's a free facility, online facility to do their readiness study. Yeah, that we can give 5.
Okay, that we will do. Thank you again. You know, let me.
Suggest something. Now that all our expertise, we all have their own expertise and we all have connections. And can we, without delaying much, we go to the next level of discussion with the minister? We have a draft action plan, so that you can present it to the ministry, and we all can do that. Then we can find you by the time we meet the minister, so that we can present it and we can make it good.
I think it is. Yeah, that's okay. That's. Yeah, Professor Ramanan, do you want to share something there? Question. Please, mute. You're on mute.
Yeah. No, I think these are excellent suggestions, and whatever help you need from our end, I think we'll be glad to support.
We'll do that. We'll collectively put something on paper and share with the ministry and share with everyone else. We will go from there.
You can use the WhatsApp platform that we are.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we'll
do the.
Fine. Yeah, so then let me finally thank the Professor Premaratna Samarnayaka for supporting us being a presenter today, and Professor Ramanathan for your excellent presentation. And I'm sure that some knowledge we managed to pass to the who's present here and who are some online participating here too. Thank you very much, and we will conclude now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.